All right, what's up, guys? We're gonna go live here in just a few minutes, so hang on tight and we'll kick things off right here, all right? What's up, guys? Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. I see y'all. You say, what's up? Argentina, ¿qué tal, chicos? ¿Cómo están? Dímelo, Mike. What's up, Carlos? Monday Nights with Mago. Monday Nights with Mago. That has a nice ring to it. I like it. What's up? What's up? What's up, Linda? Daniel, Mago Mondays. Dímelo, what's up, Kev? What's up, Jack? What's up, Gio, Mylen, Josue, Juan Carlos, Rosemary. What up, Greg? How you doing, guys? Appreciate you guys all. Looks like getting to the like button quick. All right, I feel the love. I feel the love. So the subscribe. All right, y'all doing the YouTube things. Much love. What's up, Broly? What's up? What's up? All right, so we got a bit to cover here. We're gonna make this one very concise. So I'm gonna tackle on crypto briefly, indices. We're gonna get into a little bit of everything. So I'm excited to go over this one here with you guys. There's CPI here soon as well, so it's looking solid here. And then as we kick things off here, guys, I want to remind you, just because I'm getting really good feedback. So if you guys have not locked in here with the newsletter, you're definitely missing out. So check this out right here. All right, the Tradetopia newsletter. Who got this yesterday? Who got one of these? Who's been enjoying them? Let me know. All right, so let's dive into it. I'm gonna switch over to this Bitcoin chart. Before I get into crypto, though, I am gonna start things off here with indices. And actually, I want to know from you guys: would you rather me show you a normal CFDs chart, or would you guys rather see the futures chart for this? I want to get a vibe here. I want to get a vibe on where we're at. I know things are constantly evolving. I've definitely seen a transition into, I think, especially in North America and the US, a lot more futures trading. I think more so because of regulations, etc. So I think that's the big reason why we've seen such a shift. Both are great, and I do both, but I think it does make a difference. So I'm seeing CFD, futures, futuro, futures, CFD, futures for me, forex. That's just a market. That's a currency. But you can do currencies on, I guess, kind of on futures and CFD. All right, we'll do a little bit of everything. So I'll kind of give you guys both the charts, just so it's easy for y'all to look at. I do both. Cool. All right, perfect. So, and then drop in the chat below what assets you want me to look at, whether it's gold, whether it's, NZD, USD, if you guys want me to look at oil, crypto, stocks, whatever, drop it in the chat. Let me know. This way I can kind of see where the demand is at, and we can dive into everything here. So let's get a quick dive right into Dow Jones, into Nasdaq, and we can see everything else that we're waiting for. So here with Dow Jones, and similar with Nasdaq, similar with S&P 500, we saw the market rebalance elections time. We saw the market clear out the liquidity right below that Super Tuesday for elections. We saw this rip, and then when it failed to make these highs, this is kind of our first indication that we don't necessarily have a guaranteed bullish trend from here moving forward. And then the market's worked its way lower and lower and lower, and we saw another rejection over here. So January 10th, we saw a huge sweep below, and then it ran again. We rejected this level, and if I'm not mistaken, we actually caught a lot of this live. So who here was on Friday's session? Who here was on Friday? Who here caught that huge sell-off that we had with Dow Jones? I think it was like 400 points that we caught on that New York, a little bit after that New York Open. Friday we did NFP session, so we did NFP, New York Open. We were together like a good 2 hours and change. So it was a great stream. I know a lot of you guys got to make some money. Some of y'all passed challenges. I got some really cool screenshots, some just awesome testimonials. So really cool to see there. And then so we caught that nice little reaction. So we saw that there was an exchange of money. All right, so the sell-off, continuation, fantastic. And I know a lot of you, you're kind of used to it. Some of you here are members, so you're like, this is what we do with you every day. But it's just cool to see a lot of you that are, learning for your first few weeks, first few months. A lot of you are, you're not really diving in the community. And if anything, you're starting to kind of get exposed to, is this even work? Is this real? And so one of the things that I saw a lot this last week was how we're able to forecast a lot of these movements to a point where if you can do it that often, is it really a coincidence anymore? And I think that's one of the most important things that can happen to a trader, is for you to just truly have that belief that this isn't something that you just get lucky at. When you have that personal belief, a lot starts to change for you as a trader. So love to see you guys do that and just kind of build that up for yourselves. And I'm just here to be a guide in that process. So anyways, we saw a lot of the exchange from sellers to buyers, but that doesn't guarantee that we're going to keep going up forever. And now we're at this point in time, it's my belief that we're going to go ahead and we're going to get to these September massive sell-offs. So there is this open sell-off here from September 11th. Now, one of the things that you guys can look at for when you're looking at fundamentals, now for me, high impact news, it's about the timing, not just like what the news event is, but what is it that we're trading. And so on Wednesday, we have CPI. Now we have CPI where we see the monthly release, okay? And then we see CPI here, and this is for the US dollar. And so we see CPI year over year, CPI month over month. So we're seeing a lot of different data points here. And so CPI tends to be one of the highest impact news events of every month. So as you can see here, released monthly about 16 days after the month ends. This one's dropping on the 12th, but we are getting big news. So, but let's remember we talked about this big sell-off here on US 30. This happened Wednesday, September 11th. Well, let's see what could that be all about. What could Wednesday, September 11th, 2023 be all about? what do we see these months happen? September 11th. Well, will you look at that? That's another CPI event. And you know what's funny? Is I didn't even have to look. I knew it was going to be a CPI event. So what do we see happen? That CPI event caused a massive sell-off before the market rebalanced, created bullish structure, etc. So I think we're going to continue to fall off. I think the next few days are going to create absolute mayhem. And I think whether it's CPI or PPI, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility here. And because at this point, it's like it's only Monday. We're already dropping how much, right? So, for example, we saw the market drop over 1,100 points just today alone. And so the market would need to drop another, another 1,200 within the next 36 hours or so in order to get to CPI. Why is everyone blaming it on Trump? Everyone needs a scapegoat. I mean, it's just reality. News is always the excuse. Here, think about this. Whenever you start a sentence, this is how I look at life. Again, this is just my perspective. But whenever we start a sentence with everyone is doing this, you already know the majority think backwards. The majority are sheep. The majority are just slaves to what they're being told what to think. That's just the facts. That's statistically how things function. The majority are at a certain level of awareness. The majority are at a certain level of understanding. Sometimes I may be in the majority because I just don't have the information. I'm making assumptions. Now, when it comes to dissecting geopolitical news events, when it comes to understanding narrative and intention in markets, I wouldn't put myself in the majority, and you guys probably aren't in the majority either. When you have the skill set of critical thinking, when you have the skill set of being able to follow the money, understand why things happen, you start to look at everything so differently. So, for example, tell me why. All we're getting is bullish news events for cryptos, but the markets are only dropping. Does that really make sense? Not really. So everything is always set up. Money is always positioned. I mean, we've seen liquidity build up here since before Trump was even in office. If there's retail money before we even have elections, if we have imbalance, which means that there's open institutional massive positions from before we even have elections, how could that possibly be anybody else's fault? So again, remember, all of these things are always used as a tool. These are leverage tools. You need these moments. I can go into a whole rabbit hole if we can go back to COVID. Like, we're gonna blame COVID on somebody else too. Sure, whoever you want. If you want to blame COVID on anybody, we can point fingers to a lot of specific people that were funding specific research. If you want to put blame, then all right, let's go point some fingers at Bill Gates. Let's go point some fingers at Fauci. Let's go point some fingers at people responsible to not just like death, but a lot of money being lost. But anyways, besides the point, when you see here, like you see this massive sell-off right here. So here's Trump getting elected, right? Here's that Super Tuesday. Here's how it went. Everything was awesome for 3.5 years, 3 years and a few months. We saw the markets collapse for, give or take, 35 days or so. What did this do? Liquidated buyers. Oh, you guys can't see my screen. Hold on, my bad. I got you. Don't worry. So, I saw. So we have elections right over here. I caught it fast. Could have been an issue. So we had, for example, here is right before elections, market dips, and then the market goes up. right? So this starts flying, this starts going crazy. Market leaves a huge imbalance. There's a huge sell-off here, and then this just makes historical runs. This is all bullish. All of a sudden, we have February and March 2020. Here is the orchestration of absolute mayhem, which now is proven that things have been completely aggressively falsified. You guys can see the screen now, right? And so anyways, everything collapses. And what are the chances that we come back to exactly rebalance those November elections and then carry on? Same thing. Absolute same thing. And you see stock markets become efficient, then run again. You see crypto do the same thing. It happened everywhere. So anyways, fast forward, and you guys, you can look it up yourselves, right? You see banks get fined hundreds of millions, billions of dollars every year for market orchestration, for manipulation. Like, this is nothing new. So okay. Anyways, so to answer your question, why is this against Trump per se? I mean, you just need to put the lens on somebody. Blame has to go on somebody at all times, right? And so, if you ask anybody if you were to take out politics, and we were looking at the markets in general, these markets were on an absolute rampage for years. Especially second half of 2024, we just started ripping, right? We saw S&P, I think, had a historical year last year. So things are going crazy. Anyways, so none of this is a surprise. For those of you that have been trading, like alongside myself and others, you guys, I mean, this is not a crazy thing to happen at all. This is like the most normal thing. Wait, you're telling me the markets go down? What? I thought they were only supposed to go up. So anyways, yeah. Dow Jones, to me, got a nice setup from here. And at the pace in which things are falling, people are having a rough time, because the problem is the leverage positions. I think in the last 24 hours, over $1 trillion was liquidated from the stock market. So people talk about how the crypto market is so crazy. The stock market lost over $1 trillion in a day. So, and I don't think that's the worst of it. Because guys, look at this. Do you guys think that there are retail buys, that there are leverage positions that have stops below this low from election day, the day before elections? People that were buying up leverage positions up here that just assumed that the markets were not going to have any sort of pullbacks. Isn't it pretty likely that they would place their stops below these levels, these lows? I think it's really likely that it goes down like this. So for us to liquidate, go even lower, drop another 1,000 plus points, I think we'll see some nice reversals once Dow Jones breaks 40,600 here. And we have about a 600, 700 point zone. There's a lot more demand around that 40,400 level. So Dow Jones to me looks very, very clean. I think we can get some excellent positions down below. And I think we can get this happening around CPI on Wednesday and or some action on PPI on Thursday. And that would position us into right around an 886 pullback here. So this to me looks like we can get some action. So can we take advantage of more of this drop? From where we're at right now, I think we have at least I think we drop another 1,100 points. So if we understand that, and this is with Dow Jones, I haven't even looked at Nasdaq yet, which I know a lot of you want to see that. So then if that's the overall idea, does that mean get into a sell right now? No. That doesn't mean sell now. Not at all. That's what some of you might have already done that while I'm speaking, jumped ahead, you're like, so all right, let's sell this thing, right? No, right? You need an entry. You need an entry strategy to take a selling position. And that can lead us back to maybe what happened during New York session today. Maybe we have some other opportunities here. So I want to walk you guys through what could happen. We actually took a buy together on the live stream here today. We actually took a nice buy. We caught about, what was it? How much did we catch today? About 150 points. Yeah, just about 150 points. A nice 3R, a little bit over 3R. So I know some of you that are on right now, you guys caught that, super nice. And then this thing has just melted its way down. So massive drop. I wasn't able to really find myself into a sell, so a little unfortunate. Would have loved to be in a sell, but not quite there. However, there was some interesting price action before everything just melted away, and that was right over here. So let's zoom into this New York session a couple hours after New York open and see if we have any typical setups happening over here. So let me know in the chat if you caught this buy setup with me. Let me know if you caught this, and then if you did, how did it go today for you? What was the result for you? I'd love to hear your guys' testimonials. Actually, give me 1 second, guys. Give me one second here. So, yeah, hey, we just hit 100 on the live. Let's go. All right, so here's how it went down, right? We had a lot of liquidity building up, a lot of sideways movement right here. Retail was going crazy. Break even on the trade, didn't take the re-entry, break even. Yeah, so this one missed my entry, and then we saw a little push, and when it finally came back, and because it was so choppy, once it wicked me in and then it pulled here, this is when I went break even or stop to profit. And then just so you guys also have a breakdown of how it went for me, once we got this choppiness, the market came over here, came back over here, then I moved my stop profit to this area once we were trading up here. Tomorrow I'll break down how I think we got some really interesting clues on how we were able to actually take profit early on this because of what Nasdaq was doing. So I'll show you guys what that looked like tomorrow. I don't really have time on this session, but I'll give you a deep dive on how to exit your trade maybe earlier than you anticipated using a couple of tricks. So it's some really nice things. I didn't take it. I prefer to not trade on Mondays. Cool, man. You know your technique. You know what works for you, and I think that's amazing. So what do we have, right? Sideways movement, guys, and then we finally saw that last sweep to the upside before everything collapsed. So I had a nice little pump here in the market, and so I think this is really where I'm going to draw out this last buy before everything sold off right there. So we just might have a sell opportunity up here. It would have to pull back quite a bit. What's up? What's up, Hector? Yes, sir. Sniper entry in 3x. Great work. Well done. We can look at Solana. Sure. Solana break evens. Hey, and that's good, though. You still protected your money, and this is because of all of this sideways movement, right? What's up, Rodrigo? So anyways, fast forward through this. Dow Jones. Here's where I think we have a selling opportunity. Way up here. The market would have to go up quite a bit, right? We'd have to come up again here, another 700 points or so. Will we make our way all the way back over here? I'm not sure. I'm not confident that we're gonna work our way back up here quickly. It might take some time. So in the meantime, could there be other areas for entries? We saw the market clear this high before it dropped as well. So is there another opportunity over here? We saw a little sweep above, market drops. You could argue that this is almost equal highs. So what may happen, and this is just Dow Jones. We'll look at Nasdaq, we'll look at a couple other things. But honestly, what we might see happen is for tomorrow's New York session, we might see some sort of liquidity sweep, and then the market may set up for some sort of distribution. So something like that could be a possibility, and then we can see a continuation to the downside. So we'll wait and see. Of course, if we do work our way all the way, back up in here, then I would love for some sells. Otherwise, it's all good. So we'll wait and see here what we have going on moving forward. But what if Nasdaq has a better play for us? So let's take a look at Nasdaq. And Nasdaq over here has just been melting its way down. Super bearish since just for weeks now. We saw New York open, drop, push up a little bit right after, and then just kind of continue to work its way down. This has just been dropping and dropping. So if we look back and look to see, is there some sort of smart money buy that needs to be closed out? Do we have, any sort of liquidity building up and a big sweep? Can we see some sort of, money movement like that? And the more and more I'm looking at price over here, honestly, the less we see. The market here is not building too much liquidity before it drops off. So we see a little sweep here, market falls, just market structure. It's not too much happening over here. We're not building up a ton of liquidity. It's just almost like it's free falling. And this is where it gets a little frustrating, because you want to get into the market, but can you just throw your money at somewhere in here? Not really, right? You have to pick your spot. So right now, the last big move we saw was right up here, made equal highs, dropped again. So, NASDAQ is just consistently making lower lows. And I would love to get us into some opportunity, but I'm not going to sell just because we see a little pullback. I want us to find a great area for an entry. And so here we see a big push. The market drops a little bit sideways, some pullbacks, and the markets just kind of continue to hold liquidity over here. So maybe we see a sell-off over here later on, but in reality, guys, I think the big thing we want to see is we might just have to wait for the market to give us a completely brand new setup. At least that's what I would wait for. And we've had a couple opportunities to sell here. I haven't held my sells for, I haven't swung the sells. And this drop has been epic. I will say though, eventually it will end. And eventually a buying opportunity for a swing will be fantastic. Now, no signs of that quite yet, but I do think it's coming soon. So in the meantime, basically what we want to see is we want to wait and see if can we get us some sort of distribution for NAS, where we sweep liquidity, we confirm bearish structure before we find another sell-off. That's really what we're looking for. So if you can find, this open buy candle over here, if you can find those positions open, then we can do some damage. But as I'm looking through this, it's just really not popping off the screen for me. At least I don't see it like that. It's just consistently dropping. We have a little move here, equal highs over here. I feel like it needs to set up still. So that's fine. S&P 500, similar situation. So that's where we're at with indices. I think we still have more room to drop, like I mentioned. I do want to zoom out a little bit because Nasdaq has a very, very similar setup to Dow Jones, in which Nasdaq has just, on the daily time frame, working its way back to its lows. So we're seeing this in its pullback, working its way all the way over here. So we've already retraced that 786. If you look at Dow Jones, a little bit more bullish. Nasdaq has been dropping a bit faster sweeping liquidity, and we're really just a little bit more imbalance away of here to close out this massive sell-off. So if you notice something, Nasdaq isn't closing out September 11th price action. It's closing out September 6th. Can someone guess what happened on September 6th? I can almost guarantee that it was an NFP. Oh, look at that. It was NFP. So these high impact news events, we basically mitigate these. One big news event closes out another big news event, and they just kind of take turns doing that. So September's NFP actually mitigated August, start of the month. Do you still got eyes for GU buy from last week? Yeah, I mean that's still an open trade. We can look at that in a little bit. So looking at this, guys, there's a chance that Nasdaq actually breaks below this as well, especially because Dow Jones is dropping in a slower pace. Nasdaq might break below here briefly, maybe actually rebalance some of this, close out this sell-off before it goes up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get, maybe a little bit of a reversal in here, and then maybe we break below before we work our way back up. And again, I only bring this up because I do believe that US 30, that Dow Jones here, could still go further down. So if Dow Jones is going to push into this area and Nasdaq is already there, then it would probably push Nasdaq further down. So something like this I think is very possible. For example, if Nasdaq was trading a lot higher, if it hadn't retraced as aggressively, then this could be different. But Nasdaq is just dropping its way faster. So something like this, I think, in my opinion, is a possibility. Hola, por favor, activa los subtítulos. ¿Cómo puedo hacer eso? Tú me dices y yo aquí te cumplo. Turn on subtitles. September 11th. Oh, this move here. I agree, but even then, we're already pulled back like deeply. So it's not that it can't mitigate, but Dow Jones is just lagging behind. Básicamente, chicos, aquí lo que digo en español es que Nasdaq, como está bajando con más intensidad, puede ser que no rebote tanto y siga empujando hacia abajo, como Dow Jones está bajando pero con menos intensidad. Do I trade S&P? Rarely, not because I don't like to, but because the opportunity is not always really there. So, for example, if we look at this structure on the daily time frame here, or I guess whatever time frame, we can see that the market's pulled back pretty aggressive with S&P, similar to Nasdaq. S&P tends to trade somewhere in between Nasdaq and Dow Jones in relations to that. In the way in which the level that they drop, S&P is usually like the middle child. That's what I like to say. So can you take it? Sure. It's kind of like, if you don't know whether you should trade Dow Jones or Nasdaq, S&P is the happy medium. So we do have a sweep before the continuation, and we could get in here. So yeah, I mean, we can look at Nasdaq in there, but like I said, because Nasdaq's dropping already a lot faster, this little drop on that 11th, on that CPI day, I don't think it's going to rebound. I don't think it's going to be that sustainable. So that's indices. We're going to be doing that live anyways in the morning, so let's see, it'll be solid. All right, so that leaves it to it. And quickly, what that means on the future side. So if you want to know the futures ideas, the numbers, and all that good stuff, basically under 40,500 on a YM futures, that's kind of like where I think we're going to get to, where we can get a nice little rebound right around these levels. and that would give 450 points, give or take. Once we start getting into this zone, we can start to zoom in a little more, maybe some smaller time frame price action. This Nasdaq, you're seeing this is already starting to work its way down a little faster. Same thing with S. All right, so with that being said, I do want to show you guys some setups on the majors, and I am going to get into crypto here in a second. This won't take too long, but majors are working their way lower and lower. Was waiting for NZD USD. Oh, this is in the zone right now. Okay, hold on. We actually might be able to take this buy here. I wanted to buy in this area right there. This is already up a few pips. Not the end of the world. It's not the VRR that I wanted. I would have taken it right here. But I was waiting for the market to close out this sell-off and give us a buy position. So something like this is what I'm looking for. So we saw the sweep of that low and the rally. Even if we say took a position here, we'd still be sitting at around a 2.5 R if we took an exit in this imbalance, which is not bad. Let me quickly look at these other setups. So Euro USD is still trading up here. It's in its own world, very bullish. GBP USD also not necessarily in the same structure. So these are just trading real different. So, okay, to give you guys perspective, GBP USD did really similar things to NZD USD. So a huge sell, then the market obviously doesn't stay here for very long. It absolutely rips. The market's been a lot slower in dropping for GU, and it's right now starting to reject the zone. So GBP USD, it won't really trade right now. It doesn't really make sense. This is Asian session markets. So NZD USD though, for sure, this is its time. So that's why we're starting to see a rejection over here. And my alert went off earlier, but I was on with you guys, so I just forgot to double check it. But yeah, I mean, I like the buy. I would have liked it better, lower. So you just have to ask yourself, is it worth the risk to reward to you still right over here? Maybe you can get away with a little pullback. Maybe it comes back down again, and we can take a swing at this, which is possible. Otherwise, if you're going to take a buy right here, then you got to ask yourself, where do you want to take your stop? So unless you want to reduce your stop for whatever reason, then that's the only reason. But every minute, every second that I talk, it goes up a little bit more. So if you're going to take this position, be very well aware of your risk reward and all that good stuff. So right now it's mitigating nicely, and I've shared this with you guys over the weeks. So this isn't like or over a week. So this isn't like a brand new thing. Talked about this on Friday. So this is one that you guys had in the back of your mind. Did anyone already take this one? This thing is ripping, man. Yeah, I was a little late to pull this one up, which is actually really unfortunate. Would have loved to give you guys a setup live, but I decided to break down Dow Jones first. If we get a pullback, we still might be able to enter. It depends on when. So the sell-off here was about 14, 15 pips. So if this thing pops off those 15 pips, then, you know, I'm not going to look to take any positions on here. If this gives us a reversal now before it keeps pumping higher, then I would still be open to taking this. But I would want to pull back a few pips. So I'm going to wait. Maybe we get lucky. Market pulls back one more time, gives us a better entry. But if you need a huge stop over here, you're just doing yourself a disservice. Now, if you're trading futures with New Zealand, it's 6N. 6N, you can't really trade micros unless it depends on where you're trading futures, but futures here, 6N is the chart you're looking for. Right here, that's the one. So remember, your contracts are definitely going to be a lot different if you're looking to take a position with 6N. And this is just the New Zealand dollar futures. So you really want to be mindful of basically the risk that you're looking to take. So for example, if I wanted to take, let's say, a $100 risk on futures, if you took an entry right now, let's say that's the case, you wouldn't even be able to throw a contract at this if you're going to have like a 15 pip stop. So it just depends on what it is that you want to risk, like how much money, because it will make a massive difference. So I'm going to wait and see if we can get another pullback, and then from there I'm down to take a swing at this thing. Maybe it drops another 4 pips or so, and then we could throw a few contracts at this bad boy. Throw a couple lotties. So we'll see. I can look back at this here in a little bit. Anyone take this already? Anyone already in this? I was lack of preparation. I snagged it. I'm in there. Nice. BTC. I can look at BTC. Don't worry. Cool. All right. So take a look back at that in a little bit here. Because we're gonna have just all this talk about tariffs with the Canadian dollar, with the Mexican peso. These are great things to take a look at. So that could be really useful. We had a nice drop here. Right over here. With the Canadian dollar. So a nice little sweep and then the run. So this could be an option if you guys want to look at this as well. A little sweep below. This happened on Friday, London session. Honestly, a lot's been happening with the Canadian dollar during London recently. I haven't looked at why, but a little push down. Nothing crazy, but it does definitely get below the Asian and New York session. A lot of the New York session and all of the Asian session lows. So it sweeps that and then runs. Maybe we get back over here. But I do want to add that on higher time frames, we have a good amount of liquidity, these equal lows, and up here. So I don't really love USD CAD price action. USD CHF, we got a nice bounce the other week. For those of you that traded with me Monday through Thursday, so we caught a nice little trade there before it kept just pushing down. Looks like we can get a nice little sell-off over here though, eventually. So keep an eye on this one. You guys can go ahead and mark this one up on your own charts. This happened Wednesday, Asian session. Sweep, melt. So we already had that here. If you see these filled out, that means we already mitigated. If you see these still like with the outline, means it's still pending. All right, so for those of you here keeping your eyes out on NZD USD, maybe you wanted a slightly better entry. I think we could drop down a few more pips before maybe we rally again. So just if you want to be ready for that. I'm just looking at the 1 minute here for NZD USD. Could play off of this little doji right there. So closer to like 0.5685-ish. Could give a nice little move. Thoughts on USD JPY? Honestly, I really have much here. UJ's just been making clean structure, bearish structure, not a lot of moves for me. Sweep here, drops. Maybe we get a sell from over here. But yeah, these aren't great. These are not great. A lot of sideways movement, a lot of liquidity. There was the UJ sell that I talked about here on, what was it, last Wednesday. But it sold off here, and it's just been selling off. But that was the last time I really saw a clean textbook setup, guys. Peso Mexicano, I can look at the Mexican peso. Actually, there is a setup that I like there. And Mexican peso and Canadian dollar, those are setups that are looking solid. Those are, I would expect just more and more volatility out of the market there. Okay, so gold still, guys, same old, same old. Still waiting. Still waiting for this February 25th sell-off here. The amount of liquidity we have built up here is insane. We have retail building up sells for weeks now. Weeks on end. So more of that awaits us. More of that awaits us. Silver building some, popping off right now. Not bad. Not bad. So right now we've seen gold create more liquidity. So you guys see how we made some equal lows. Now with gold, I will say I do prefer looking at futures on metals. They just look and trade a lot cleaner in my opinion. So gold here does not make equal lows. It actually sweeps the low. And in my opinion, I think gold futures are a lot more accurate than CFDs, because with CFDs, every broker basically sets their prices, so it'll look different with different brokers. But gold here is swept below. If we get a higher high, we might even be looking for buys there. So it's just a different type of trading environment over here with gold. And then even if you looked at silver futures, silver also pushed below. Looks like it just closed out this move right here. Yeah, it looks like it just mitigated this. We had a nice push down. Clean that up. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what the market shows us here. But take a look at this with gold. Even now is making equal lows. Support, support, support. Gold dips down, clears out retail buyers, and then immediately worked its way higher. So if we keep trading higher here, especially if we get above this previous high, then we may see a nice buy setup on gold here. So I'd want this to keep pushing higher. Stay bullish. And then we can catch a little buy for a rally. Something like this. All right. Yeah, so something like this could be pretty nice with gold, considering we just cleared out those lows. So if you guys want to draw this up on your end, hold it up nicely. Gold's looking beautiful. Then we can let this bad boy rip. So here's how I set it up. I place an alert when it gets above. And then once that alert goes off, then I'll have an alert around where I would want the market to get back to. But first we need to get confirmation that there's bullish demand, that there's a higher high. So these are gold futures. GC. And then if you need smaller, if you want to, you can do MGC, where you'll get micro contracts, but similar. I mean, it's the same thing. Chart wise, it's the same thing. You will get filled a bit better on non-micros. From there, guys, let's see. Let me quickly walk you guys through Mexican peso, cryptos, and we're done. So Mexican peso here. Mexican peso is doing just about what I marked up earlier. Sick. So we had it stall out up here. I said, look, we want to see a demand. So we went from lower lows, lower highs. The market dipped below during pre-New York session. So swept up tons and tons of retail buys here. Liquidations, boom. Market then does a break here. This retest lured in sellers, and then this ripped. I know a lot of you might have actually taken this play. This, I like to call this a shakeout. So this shakes out, or we can call this the bait and switch. So it lures in sellers, right? It baits in the buyers, it lures in break and retest sellers, and then it switches up and just rips. So this is a bait and switch setup. That's just what I call it. This is my secondary entry model, not one that I take all the time. Doesn't have the same win rate as my mitigation entry does. It's a little bit lower, but the RR can be really nice because a break and retest, it's like a fake break and retest. The good thing with this one, when it hits, the risk reward is nice because it's max luring in sellers, and then it goes. So you have a pretty tight stop, and I would have targeted these highs, so it would have been like a 4.5 R. But anyways, the good thing is this, now we have a different setup, because now we can tell that sell positions are open to drop price, to take out buyers, lure in sellers. And so we know that the market at some point should work its way back down to here so that it can close out the sells and open. I think we can see some buy positions, and I mean, I'd be looking for buys. Oh no. Stream clapped. Why? Looking. Man. Let me know. Can you guys hear me still or not? According to this, maybe not. I'm not even sure. It's not loading. Oh, hold on. No, it's not. It's like really choppy. It's bad. I think you guys. No data. The stream will end shortly unless you're restarting your streaming software. Oh, that's nice. Are you on it? You can hear me, right? Oh, okay, so you're fine. Alright, so this thing's bugging. So we'll do this, guys. I do always like to hear from you guys, so if I can get your testimonials here, just share your results, get feedback on the stream, how you guys are winning, what you guys are learning. That would be fantastic. It would mean the world to me. So I'll drop that right here for you guys to be able to do that. They know, man. They're on to me, guys. One second. To get this one figured out, but I don't know. I feel like apparently it's getting really choppy. So basically, I like a potential setup over here. All right, guys. So here it is. Much love. Well, this thing is going crazy, and I can't stream the way I wanted to. But my thoughts on Bitcoin for those I'm bugging out for. Basically, I think we're still going to keep going lower. And I think we can get to around elections prices because we're not this choppiness. Pretty predictable. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come back to this previous structure from October, or if we get to elections price actions or a little bit below 70,000. So once we get below, move. It's working for me. Let's see what do you guys see? BTC, saludos Danny. Desde Medellín. Yo tengo Bitcoin para holdear, sí. Sí, yo todavía lo mantengo, definitivamente. Danny Vibes Music. Ese es Danny desde Miami, del pasado. I'm lagging a lot. Bro, if I could fucking